Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Thursday's edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the ups and downs of the pre-market.
We're going to prepare you for a lot of things here today. The Fed minutes signal possibility more stimulus. That came out at 2 o'clock yesterday. S&P futures are breaking down a little bit here again. Are we headed for that 1300 level? Merck is rallying on a phase 3 trial update of their osteoporosis drug, and we're going to talk about after hours head fakes, algos, and news bots versus news bots. Lots on the agenda here today. What's going on?
Well, we got a little pop yesterday or last night after the close, but we have sold off hard. And Dennis, we are in no man's land down here as far as support. Wednesday's low, we're trading under that. I have nothing down to 13.16. We could have another 10-point drop in the S&Ps.
Yeah, the S&P chart here, just looking at it, is scary now. We had this overall trend here. I'll just try to draw those trend lines on here for you. I was talking about this channel before where we had this channel. We are now violating this channel. I would say yesterday's breakdown here violates, or today's breakdown definitely violates. I'm saying needs to hold 1330. Doesn't appear to be going to hold. I think we could be heading for 1300 here eventually. It's hard to say, but that's where we've bottomed out one, two, three times back in late June earlier on. I think we might be heading there again.
And just want to point out to our listeners, you did have basically a double close. You had yesterday's close at 36 and a quarter, and Tuesday's close at 35 and a half, and you also had your daily swing number in that area. The market did hold that early up, but once it came down through there, there was no support, and this market's going to have a hard time getting back over 1330.
Yeah, the market definitely is in a little bit of world of hurt here again. Just wanted to highlight a few things. Obviously, we had the Fed minutes yesterday. I think the market's a little uneasy here because they didn't say anything specifically about easing. They said they would ease if they needed to, or obviously, or add more stimulus, or hinting at a little bit of QE3. But I don't think it was good enough. The market didn't love it, and that's why we are selling off here a little bit today. We do have some of your European banks are weaker here this morning, so that is a catalyst for the down move as well. We've got Deutsche Bank breaking down new 52-week low. Deutsche Bank trading 31.58.
Oh my lord! Look at that. Those stocks just got no bounce off that the 47th European solution, whenever that was, when it got the bounce up to 38, and it looked, and there was absolutely no follow through. But how about that late day head fake yesterday? Spoos rallied 8-9 points, settled up near that area, and I'm looking at the stocks that we found in the Big Ten, and they're going nowhere.
Yeah, we had a pretty decent rally there yesterday afternoon, but it's not going to hold here. Obviously, the stocks are breaking down here this morning, and it is ugly here. But talking about head fakes, Joel, I just want to highlight a couple of things that happened. This SVU had a crazy move yesterday. I'm going to go back, try to find you the trades here. But what basically happened is the stock came out with earnings after the bell here. I'm just going to scroll through and show you all of these trades that happened after the bell. You've got news algos that will basically come
Did you
in.
make up that term? Did you make that
I don't
up?
think I made it up. That's what there's an algorithm that is trading off of the news. So I'll call them news algos. Maybe I cited news algo, but algorithms that are trading off of the news. And what happened yesterday? SVU, your foods or your grocer there, comes out with news right around 4:30, and the stock immediately trades up in 3 seconds. Trades from the close. I think it closed 529. Runs all the way up to 608 right here in a matter of seconds off of that, where some bot reads the top headline, and then starts to sell off on it, and then buys it all up on there, and then other bots come in realizing, well, that news algo read it wrong, and they smack it back down. You can see what happens as I'm scrolling through the trades here. The stock immediately goes back down, trades all the way down to 425 in a matter of 4 minutes. We traded from 608 to $4.21. That is crazy moves. You've got to really watch. If you're trading these things after hours, there's head fakes, there's bots versus bots. There's so much stuff going on here that it's hard for a human to grasp even what's happening. But there's definitely a couple algorithms that are kind of dumb out there. They're not all smart. Like we talk about high frequency trading. There's a lot of people running some stupid algorithms out there. And I believe somebody ran a really bad one there yesterday, buying SVU off of that report. And they are seriously underwater here this morning because the stock is now trading at $3.88.
I mean, basically, you have a stock trading, in a range up and down 50% of its, not 50%.
Craziness.
Yeah, and
Absolutely crazy.
there was some volume associated with that too. I mean, it just wasn't, the little old lady from Pasadena with 100 shares. I mean, there was definitely some volume associated with that. As that stock hit 608, 608. Then had the immediate spike down under $4, 380. Subsequently, we made a low at 356. So
356.
355 to 608. Okay, super value. I mean,
It's a grocery store.
there's not a lot. There's not a lot of value in this stock. So, looking at the pre-market chart, we always have these different discussions about the formations in the pre-market. Besides the spike up and down, 355 is your number. That was the low in the pre-market. We have started a little bit of a climb since then. A lot of air above $4, but let's keep an eye on 355.
Another one too was MAR. You're getting these head fakes after the earnings reports. I'll try to scroll back and find you when it reported there after hours as well. But the
You don't
stock,
need to scroll back. I could tell you by looking at the chart.
yeah, where did it end up going up to there, Joel? After
Oh, it
hours,
only went up to 38.96.
so it went up to 38.96. So you got MAR where it went up to 38.96 off of the report. I'm trying to find the trades just to show you guys there. But and then what happened?
It hits 38.96, immediately comes back down and bounces off 37. Little of a dead cat bounce there up to 37.40, and then someone just puked again, took it down to 36.39. That has been the low in the pre-market. Looking at the charts here, you have a mound of support at 35.68. That's another buck away from here. But I would just keep an eye on this 36.50 level, the low in the pre-market.
Yeah, so watch those head fakes off. If you're trading after hours, you got to be really careful. I don't advise our listeners to even trade after hours because there's so much different stuff happening where you got the bots versus the bots. Same thing there, though. Huge head fake. They buy the stock up.
I'll bicker with you on that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, let's say you own Super Value.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're looking and you've been buying it thinking that somehow there's going to be value in it, and you want to exit a position.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know what goes on in the after hours. I mean, if you would have had an order out there at 590,
Yeah.
591, use it to exit a position.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say initiate a position off those after hours, but definitely if the big boys are going to be playing like this, making these kind of stupid moves, then you as a retail trader have the right to exit a trade at a profit in the pre-market.
Yeah, that's a great call, actually. So obviously you don't know where it's going, but maybe if you're happy to sell this thing at $5 or $6 SVU, throw your order out there, and that's the downside. A lot of retail traders don't have access to the after hours. But if you don't have access, switch your broker. There's lots of retail brokers that do have access. Interactive Brokers has access to the after hours, and maybe you can get out of those stocks after hours and get out at a really decent price. I mean, in both of these cases, SVU, you could have got out at $6, and the MAR, you could have got out at the 38.96, and now it's trading 36.5. So there is opportunity there. It's just hard to predict where it's going. But if you've got your target in mind, if you're happy to get out at a certain price, why not throw it out after hours and maybe you'll get filled? The only downside is if it really had a good report and just kept going, you'd be executed and not at the best price.
Yeah, but if you get in a trade and you have a stop and you have a target, let's say you sold it at $5 in the aftermarket.
Right.
Okay, you only would have been wrong for 2 seconds.
That's a good point too. The stock, that's just crazy volatility. I cannot believe the volatility we have off of these earnings reports. It just it's getting crazy. Like and it's so quick too. Like SVU is trading up there for a matter of a minute. and then it comes down, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's going down, and it's down a buck. So it goes from being up 20% to down 20%, all in a matter of minutes. And now obviously it's ugly here at $3.87, but there's obviously is some opportunities there in the after hours, but you got to be careful. So I think Joel made a decent point. Initiating a position, a little bit scary unless you're a professional. But exiting a position, maybe that's not that bad of an idea. They're giving you opportunities. So I could get on board with that. I could get on board with that if you're a retail trader. Other stocks in the news here. We've got Merck. Merck this morning is trading up substantially. Trade up last night. They got news on their phase 3 trial update for their osteoporosis drug, Odanakatib. Why can't they come up with simple names here? Because I can't even pronounce these names. Odanakatib is the drug, anyways. But the stock is trading up significantly here, 42.77 right now, after closing at 41.21. So Merck is going to be up substantially.
Looking at the pre-market activity, you did get a high here above $43, 43.05. That by far is a 52-week high. The old 52-week high was 42.21. The only thing I have to say about this, we have backed off that level a little bit. We're trading at 42.80. I guess we're good to go to the upside as long as we hold 42.21. But here you have a stock that trades, 12, 13, 14, 20 million shares in a day. All right. And now you got it up a buck 57, a decent volume, 700
Yeah.
700,000. But man, there's a lot of filling to be out. There's a lot of people that are going to wake up and say, "Get me out of Merck this morning."
Yeah, and it's a thicker stock too, you're right. It is this thicker stock. This is a really big move. Like Merck usually moves 30, 40 cents in a day, so when you're moving up a buck and a half, you're right. That is a huge move for the stock, but the chart overall here is starting to look really good. We've been talking about the drugs, saying they've been in favor for quite some time. Obviously, some fundamental news driving it higher here, but you had that high back on January 31st at 41.56. We're substantially above there. There's not a lot of reference points really in this next area. So it is going to open up because you had this parabolic move down back at the beginning of 2008 where you basically fell from $60 to $40 in a matter of a few weeks. Now I'm not saying we're not going to go back to $60. The thing's thick. There's sellers probably all over the place in it, but it is opening up a little bit, so you can expect a little bit more volatility, especially today. I would expect use the whole numbers. There's usually institutions that have orders out there. I mean, this is the first time we've been up here in years to this area.
2008,
To that,
April
okay.
of 2008, we hit a high of 42.24. And just to give another version of what I said as far as people exiting this stock, if you don't want to exit and you think it's just going to keep going and going, you're a long-term holder of this stock, move your stop up. Take advantage of this move. Lock in some profits.
Yeah, if you've had the stock here from the beginning of June, it was at 37. It's now almost $43. You've had a really good move in a high dividend, low beta stock. So you never want to let a winning trade that you're up in become a losing trade. So it's always a good idea. And I don't like using physical stops because it seems like the bots will try to go there and try to always get your order. If you have the capabilities, use mental stops. But I guess
You know
if
what
you're
they call those?
what do they call the physical stops?
Stop bots.
Stop bots, stop bots. I think they do call them stop bots. If there's a stop order anywhere within a nickel or a dime of the price, the bots will drive the price there just to execute your stop and then take it the other way. That's
They
why
can't see. They can't see your
they
stops.
see everything. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They see everything. So there are some systems that do try to keep the stop orders off of the books. But when you send a stop order to New York or you send it anywhere, for the most part, the retail brokers got it on the books. They know it's there. They know what's there. These guys see everything. They subscribe to enhanced data feeds. They see everything. So I don't buy that for a minute that they don't see your stop. And I think that they try to go and execute you too. So if you're a day trader out there using stops and you're getting stopped out on everything, that's why. I think you should use mental stops, or you should have some program that keeps the stop off the books. Because once you send the physical stop order in, every high frequency trading firm is looking at it.
Okay, Chevron Corporation, talking about the head fakes in the aftermarket. That stock was strong yesterday for a majority of the session, even when the S&P sold off, and so was ExxonMobil. In fact, I remember looking at one point even before the S&P rally, those stocks were up near their highs of the day. Lo and behold, Chevron comes out with good news.
Same thing here again. The stock here. I'm just looking into the after hours trades here. It got up to 106. Where did it get? 106.58. Is that what you have for a high?
Yep.
Yeah, 106.58. So Chevron's trading up almost $2. They did come out with their update, said the Q2 is going to be better than Q1. Market liked it for a while, stock trading higher, but then just starts to slowly come down, drifting down. This was after hours last time, showing you the trades from after hours. And eventually, we'll just grab the time here just to show you what time that was at. Uh, by within 25 minutes after they had just announced that they were going to have a better quarter, the stock was already trading down. So there was another head fake again, where the stock is trading higher, and then now it's trading down here pre-market, 104.49.
Yeah, I mean, some volume last night, not a ton of volume this morning. Keep an eye on the close, 104.85 as a swing number. The low in the pre-market has been 104 and a quarter. That coincides with yesterday's low at 104.02. So if in fact they do take out the 104, then this news is absolutely meaningless.
SAP is rallying this morning here as well. Not a stock that we cover a lot. I never like trading the ADRs because they're just following what's happening overseas. But it is trading up here. 59.10 is where it's trading at this morning. I'm looking at the chart here. You had some tops just above 60, 60, 68, 60, 62 back on June 19th. And then you had 60, 73. So if you think the stock takes out the 60, maybe that's where it's heading, just above 60 in the 60-60 area. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know what the news is, and I don't know what they do, but I
I
know
don't know.
that they've traded 2.3 million shares here.
Ton of
So,
stock.
yeah, someone is a believer in this one.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know
earnings.
if, yeah, I don't know if I'd be stepping out in front of this freight train. I would keep an eye on the pre-market high, which was 59.42. Excuse me. Yep, 59.42 was the high in the pre-market. Looking at the chart, you have that dastardly triple top at 60.62, 60.68. So look at that area as major resistance, as if in fact it can clear that $60 level.
Should talk about Apple here because Apple this morning it was breaking under 600, is trading just slightly above it here now. But a few minutes ago, if I just scroll back the trades here, we did get down. Where did we get down to, Joel?
In the pre-market, we did dip under 600, 599.35.
Okay, 599.35. So Apple did take out 600 in the pre-market. We've been talking about it, saying Apple needs to hold. Actually, it took it out yesterday too, though. I just realized it did take
Yep.
it out yesterday. So it has already been under 600 here. It closed above it, which is a good thing. It did get that rally late in the day, where a lot of things got a rally late in the day. Obviously, that was a head fake too. Head fakes all over here. But so it did end up closing up, got right up to the resistance area that it had some intraday resistance up in that 605 area. But it needs to hold this 600. We've talked about it for a while. At least it closed above it, but I'd like to see it close above it again or start a rally here. Like maybe you fake out a few people under the 600, it starts to rally. But if the market continues to roll over and Apple continues to roll over, maybe your whole scenario of it selling off before its earnings report might come to fruition.
Yeah, 604.43 was the close. Really didn't even sniff that in the pre-market. I've been looking for that area as resistance. Coming down, you have to call 597.22 minor support. Below that, you have the 6-day low at 594.
You wanted to talk about Johnson and Johnson, and this area is just getting crazy here. We've got one, two, three, four tops just above this 68 area. What is it? 68.10? Is that the number?
68.10, 68.11, 68.12, and 68.15 have been four of the last six highs.
Yeah, so this whole just above 68 area has crazy resistance now. If we can break above there, then all bets are off. But you can guarantee there's high frequency traders that are alerted to that area, and they've been selling it 4 or 5 days in a row here now, just above the 68 level. So it depends. Do you think it's going to hold?
Well, you have three lows, 67.63 to 67.72. So basically, you have a triple top and a triple bottom. You're getting some downside pressure in the market today. That may happen, but I mean, someday it has to retrace some of this move. I mean, I don't think J&J has ever made a move like this, even like during like the flash crash and
It's a
the
big
crash in
move.
'87. I mean, I just don't ever remember making a move like this, and it hasn't given it up yet. But holy smokes, man! I tell you, 68 is the number.
It's again those defensive stocks, little dividend in there. It's just all those stocks are the same thing. They've all been pretty strong. Besides Procter and Gamble, which for whatever reason just doesn't participate. We've talked about Procter and Gamble for a while. Even at that 62 area, seems to continue to hold. So not sure why Procter and Gamble can't get any runs. But if you look at the other ones, stocks like AT&T, stocks like Merck, which we already highlighted, stocks like the Johnson and Johnson. They've got dividends. Abbott Labs, they've got dividends. They've got they're a little more lower beta, so I think it's just money's just trying to find a home in these stocks where there's a little less risk and a little higher yield.
Okay, to close out the show, look for some bottom fishers here to be buying around the Globex low at 13.24. I would not be, I'd be advising against that move. I see no major support in this to 13.16. And you know what 13.16 was, Dennis?
What was 13.16?
13.16 was the Globex low on the day that they solved the European solution again.
That's what they do.
It was.
They,
It gapped up. We
yeah,
went. We got another boost before we rallied up, and now we're just. It just goes to show if you. I don't know if you can pull that chart
I
up
got
and
it up
look,
there.
but
Yeah,
when stocks, and this is not only for the S&P, but it's for stocks in general. When they have vacuums like this, unless there's a lot of good news, a lot of momentum to carry things, a lot of times they fall back into that area.
yeah, and that's what you're seeing happen here today. Wouldn't surprise me if we actually seen that. Like I said, we've broken this channel now to the downside. Doesn't look good technically speaking, unless we can turn around and rally up here today. I think this stock market could be heading lower, and that 13.16 might be the next stopping point.
Do you have do you know what a breakfast spot is?
What's a breakfast bot? We got all these
One
different
that
bots today. We got the news
it's
bots.
one that
We got the
it's one
stop
that
bots.
predicts what
What's
it's
a
going to
breakfast
predict.
bot? What's a
It's
breakfast bot?
it predicts what you're going to have for breakfast.
They know everything. They read your mind. So, what am I having for breakfast? I've already had breakfast. I have a protein shake, so I don't know if they knew that or not.
Okay, folks, that's our show for today, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.